guys ready? I call this meeting to order for Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Susan Payne,
Here
Mayor Pro Tem Dusty Wright,
is absent, and he did let me know. I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you.
Commissioner Sharon McDonald,
Here.
Commissioner Josh Reardon,
Here.
Commissioner Stephen Burnett,
Here.
Commissioner Carl Melton,
Here.
Commissioner Nick Paul,
Here.
City Manager Brian Caesar,
Here.
City Attorney Ashley Smith.
Here.
The Deputy Clerk is present. Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Dylan. We are going to start with the pledge that was supposed to be Commissioner Dusty Wright. Would you do that for us? And then our invocation by Pastor John Krall of the Worship Center. Thank you for being here. We're going to start with the invocation first. I apologize.
All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you that we have the opportunity to serve this community, each and every member here. And so I just pray right now just for wisdom over each person. God, that we wouldn't take any decisions lightly, that we wouldn't move or think this is just something to just go to, but we would take it, each and everything, we'd take each decision with clarity and confidence. And I just pray for wisdom over each and every person, God, that you would give them direction and do it exactly what you've called them to do. We love you so much. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay. I'm going to move for the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
A motion from Commissioner Burnett and a second from Commissioner McDonald. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And motion passes 6-0. We're going to move on to public comment. We have one person signed up, Cliff Wilson. Yep, you can come up here.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm good, thank you. You will, if you can state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name's Cliff Wilson, so I'm not good with this, so.
That's okay.
Public speaking, so I hope you bear with me.
You go right ahead.
So yeah, I've already talked to Nancy Belshazzar a couple times, so I'm gonna try to put it more on you. So, quick question on you guys. There's 4 real main ways to get around this town. There's walking, there's cycling, there's other mobility ways. There's by car and there's by public transit. The last 6 months, how many of you guys used to get around town?
I can't answer that. We're not really allowed to answer that right now.
Okay.
But I will keep
Just
that in
saying,
mind.
I use basically 3 out of the 4. I don't use public transport.
Okay.
I don't use the bus or things like that, so I have no idea how the bus system works. So I hope you guys use more options to get around town, just to kind of feel and see. Can I ask you, I was going to pick on Dusty since I know Dusty. We went to school together. So normally with traffic engineers, they talk about 3 main things. So I get these from Charles Marone. He's an author from Strong Towns. There's, when you design a road, it's safety, traffic flow, and cost. Which ones do you put in order?
I still can't answer you.
can't answer.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Most people will put safety above, and then they'll do cost, and then they'll do
That's
traffic
reasonable,
flow.
right.
Okay? Traffic engineers, especially really old ones in the 1960s, which is how this town was designed, put it the other way around. They'll do traffic flow, they'll do cost, and then they'll do safety. So take our town, for example, we have a ton of right-hand turn lanes, which are extremely dangerous because most people when they stop for a stoplight, go into the crosswalk, so the person that's on the right-hand side has to then scoot in front to see who's coming left. State-wise, I wish right-hand turn lanes were illegal, but they're not. So now that person's not looking right for the pedestrian. They're in danger for looking left for the cars because there's a car blocking them with the crosswalk, and then usually people just gun it. So that's just one thing in our town. Another thing is, so there was a child that was hit on Florida. Why don't we have, there's so many different ways that we can design our streets that are much safer. So you can make 10-foot wide lanes. At that spot, there shouldn't have been a school zone because that's only safe during school zone hours, and most people don't obey the school zone speed limits. No offense to the police. It's not their job to monitor everything. So the better way to, especially on the really dangerous spots for crosswalks, why don't we do raised crosswalks in this town? It's so much safer, it's better. There's also ways to do curb extensions where at different lanes, because you can't park on these curbs by a stop sign or a stoplight, move the curbs in, and that shortens the way for pedestrians to be able to cross the street. And I do have some books. If I've emailed you and I've written you guys a couple, I haven't gotten any responses. Would you guys be willing to read them? Can I give them to you?
What I am going to do is, and the 3 minutes is up, I apologize, but what I will tell you is,
I know we're
And
redesigning
correct-
the streets, so it's
Yes.
from here forward, so you
Right.
can't do anything about the past.
right, but correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a few weeks. We are doing a,
Yeah, I heard about the car going around to look.
well, no, I mean, Brian, talk about our maintenance, our master plan for,
Yeah, we do have the draft. It's actually pavement condition. So it's not really talking about the traffic calming and the other things that
And it's
you're
like road
discussing right
guides that
now.
actually help.
If you sent the email to commission, I don't remember receiving it. So I don't
I
know if
haven't
you,
sent it to you, I sent it to them.
so you might want to, what you sent to commission, actually
Okay,
send to my office, and I will get it to our Public Works Director and Engineering Department. That is something that has been looked at on previous projects, obviously hasn't been incorporated in some of the last few.
no, I'm not mad at you guys, so you guys are 1,000 times better than the state, so the Alamogordo Autobahn called White Sands.
Yeah.
The state should fix that, and they choose to not, and how many people die on that road a year?
right. Well, I mean, thank you for coming in and thank you for your concern. I'm sure that if you have that concern, a lot of people do. But I do know that those are the kinds of things that we are looking at. That specifically, I can't tell you. Do you know when you sent the email?
I've sent them a couple months back.
Did you send it to me?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and look.
Okay.
Because I am really, really good about returning emails. That's one thing I do get complimented for a lot, actually. So I don't know what happened.
Okay.
I apologize, because I really am good at least acknowledging the email. So I apologize if I didn't, because that is something that I would typically do. But thank you for your comments, and, you're certainly always welcome to drop things off if there's something that
Okay.
you'd like us
I
to
have
look at.
3 books with me. They're more stupid books for me. It's more for the common person. I did have some other books ordered, but they didn't get here in time. They're more traffic engineering side, which
Okay.
goes way over my head. It was more Nancy's side, so I gave her that book.
It'd be
as
way
well.
over my head, too, trust me. All right, well, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate your time, thank you.
What were the emails sent under? What email address?
Because I didn't see anything.
There's some about traffic but it's in the spam filter. Oh, okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
No, I don't know.
Okay, we're going to move on to my agenda because, okay, we're going to move on to the city manager's report.
Since it's a nice, short meeting, I'll keep it very short, not that I'm normally very long anyway. Just 2 quick items. This Saturday, April 1st, the pool will open at the rec center. It is still obviously a little bit cold. It's going to be limited hours like we do every year, and then as it warms up, we get into the summer season, those hours will, excuse me, will be expanded. The second item, Easter in the Park, is Saturday, April the 8th from 10 to 1 at Washington Park. There was a little bit of confusion. We did get some questions. I guess we had an old form on our website that said that no items could be sold by the vendors. That was incorrect. The correct posting went out, a new PSA went out, so if you happen to get any calls from people that wanted to do vending at Easter in the Park, yes, they can sell food, they can sell their
Okay.
items, et
I
cetera.
think there was something, my husband asked me about it. He said, they're not going to allow food trucks? I said, I don't know.
That was something from 5, 6 years ago. I
Okay.
have no idea why at that time they restricted it. That was lifted, and somehow the old form got uploaded onto the
Okay.
website.
Well, that's good to know. I haven't gotten any calls on it, but if I do, then I can certainly let him know. All right. And that's it? Is that all? You act like you've been on vacation for a week or something.
Yes, but I did make it back. I missed you all and these meetings.
I bet you did. I injured my back last week and didn't see anybody. I was not fit to be in society, so I have no clue what happened, but anyway. All right, we're going to move on to remarks and inquiries by the city commission. Commissioner Rudin.
I didn't miss you.
Right, since Brian wants to stay here so late, we're gonna pull everything off consent so we can talk about it.
Okay,
No,
all 3 items, huh?
right, I got the Wall Street Journal, I'm gonna read to you guys too, so. But, our current policy, or what, do we have a current policy right now as far as patching and holes? If we don't, we need to kind of implement one. I've still got holes over on Mountain View that
That
I've asked
was
about for 3 months.
That was supposed to have been patched last week
Okay.
to play catch-up, and this does happen. I've been here for a very long time, and it alternates every once in a while between street patching or filling the holes behind water breaks, et cetera. There are, and don't hold me to this because I was gone last week, there were 84 outstanding patches so that the department could catch up. A portion of those we're going to do, or they did a small contract.
Okay.
So those patches could be caught up, they could catch up on those patches, excuse me. And last week was when Mountain View, quite a number of patches, but the ones that you're talking about were going to be done. I did ask, because I expected the question
They
tonight.
weren't done as of this
No,
morning.
I know they weren't.
Okay.
I expected the question, so I did ask. Those patches are scheduled to be done on Monday.
Yeah, like I say, from once we're caught up, I really believe we need a policy that, okay, once it's opened up, we'll get it patched within 30 days or 45 days. I mean, the constituent over in that area called me before Christmas. And here we are, almost April 1st.
And what we
and
do
Those still aren't done yet.
on whether it's a water break or for patching, sort of the same thing, is they are prioritized. So the ones that you're talking about on Mountain View, those would be a lower priority than, say, something we had on Washington, 10th Street,
Yeah, I understand
somewhere
that.
else. So we do, there is things in place to set a time and say, okay, it will be patched within 30 days. Could make that guarantee if we had our own batch plant, we were making our own hot mix, all our own concrete, et cetera. We don't do that. So we are at the mercy at some times to the supplier. I'm not saying the supplier is the reason that these haven't been patched. We had quite a number of main line failures, service line failures, et cetera. And as you know, because you're in the construction, or a number of you are in the construction business, it's a lot quicker to tear something out, fill the hole, and move on to the next than it is to come back and do the finish work, the patching, et cetera. So I'm not trying to make excuses for the street department, et cetera, but they will be caught up, and hopefully we will stay caught up. And if they start to get behind, they will implement a little bit earlier the little mini contract going out to one of the locals that can do that type of work. We have done it on concrete within the last year. I don't remember the date.
That'll work.
Is that it?
I think that was all I had.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Is there a status update on Paiute Park? I know we were having foundation issues there.
At the top of 10th Street?
When I went
Yeah.
through
Yeah,
my 300-plus emails yesterday, I don't remember reading that. Do you have anything on that?
Good evening, Commission Mayor. So Pyote Park, the equipment was deemed unsafe and costly to replace it. So they're going to fill it in. They're making it a green space. They're going to throw some, I think, barbecue grills out there and make it still, it won't be a playground. It'll be a green space that people can still gather, do barbecuing. It wasn't costly to replace all of that, so they're going to use what they can at some other parks, and the covering, I believe, will stay there.
So it wasn't the foundation that made it unsafe? It was
No,
the play structures?
it was the play
themselves?
structures, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I believe you sent an email, and the Public Works Director did reach out to the individual?
Yeah.
So,
I am super disappointed. I am. No, seriously. Like, I'm really disappointed that that is not going to be a park anymore because,
It's going to be a
I
park.
haven't-
It won't be a playground.
yeah, I'm really disappointed it won't be a playground because I will tell you that that is utilized multiple times every single day. And that is a disappointment for that neighborhood.
that's
And
why
I
they-
want to be careful what I say because I live in that neighborhood, although I do not have small children.
And
But
that's
I'm
why
super disappointed about that.
We tried to come up with a cost-effective, so to still give a green space, they're going to put some, I believe, boulders out there to make it, but it just, with all the parks, pocket parks, the equipment that hasn't been maintained over the years and just old, if we do anything to it, it has to be ADA compliant. We just have so much park and equipment that it wasn't feasible for us to replace it, so we're trying to make it a green space to at least make it coming for the families and kids out there.
How much money are we talking to replace that?
At the top of my head, I don't know.
250?
I'm not 100% sure. I saw the reports back a month or two ago, but I'm not 100%
I don't
sure.
live in that area or anything, but I do know that park is utilized a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well, and I
And
thought
we
we
knew
were
that it was.
replacing it, so I've been telling everybody that's been calling me, oh, yeah, they're going to replace it, they'll take care of it.
we ought to get us some numbers together and let us make the decision on that.
I think the biggest feedback I've heard, and I live in that neighborhood too, is that used to be the only kid-centric area they can go to. Desert Foothills Park, that's great that's not really
Yeah.
kid-centric. So making it a place for communal barbecuing, that's great, but we also kind of have that at Desert Foothills.
and I believe that
Park.
they're going to also put the concrete slab, cornhole, is that what it's called? With the concrete slabs, so they're going to try and put some of those pieces out there that are less costly too.
Can we get some numbers together for us to see?
I'm sure there's numbers out there, yeah.
I agree. I mean, that's the only park in that area, and I agree with these guys.
Yeah, we can send it out, or,
Those structures, those play structures aren't that expensive, even if we scaled it down a little bit of some sort or whatever, but,
yeah, we can get some
I'm just,
information out.
I know we're just going to have angry residents over there. I know we are. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and certainly we have to think of the city as a whole, but we are going to have really upset residents over there because that place was used. There's not a time that I went by there, and I walk that neighborhood all the time, and there's not a time that I go by there that there aren't kids playing on that. That's really going to be a super disappointment for that area. And there's not a park even close to that. There's nothing even, I can't even think, can you? I can't think of anything even. Washington, Oregon. Yeah, Washington or Oregon Park, and that's just not, that park was nice because you could take your kids up there and feel relatively safe. You know what I mean? Like you go to Washington and Oregon Park, and those are fine, but some people didn't feel as safe taking their little kids, not the older kids, but their little kids there. And I'm just so disappointed. I'm not angry at anybody, but I am super disappointed. It really was well utilized. And for me, when we have something that well utilized, it's probably worth spending a little more money on. So,
Right now is the opportune time too. Budget's coming up.
yeah.
You know, if you guys get us some cost estimates of what it is to replace that or repair it or whatever it is, you know, us as a commission can task the city manager to find us some money to fix it. So,
Yeah, we can put something together.
All right, thank you.
thanks.
Okay, well, I just have one thing. I went today to Las Cruces. The mayor of Las Cruces, who I've never actually met before, I knew who he was, invited me because he was doing his last State of the City address. Apparently, he's been the mayor for 16 years. That's probably about 12 more years more than I want to do it, but anyway. So he was doing his last, and it was interesting, to say the least. A little more bougie than what I was expecting. I mean, it was okay. I mean, they do a lot of great things in Las Cruces. Obviously, we are not Las Cruces, but I will tell you that as I was driving home, and I was sort of thinking about some of the things that they do there and some of the things he said, and you know, we're doing those things here. We really are. Are we a little behind the curve? Yeah, we are, but I really think that we're starting to make some progress. We're trying to come out of COVID, obviously. We're doing some great things, and I think just like, you know, we have to start with the basics, like cleaning up our ordinances, and, you know, when we hear we have an ordinance that's, 40 years old, of course, we have to clean all of that up first, because you can't make progress by sidestepping that. So everything has to be done in order, and I like the way we're doing it. But as I was driving back, I passed Holloman Air Force Base, and the planes flew right over me. And I said, you know what? That is part of the reason I live in Alamogordo, because that was an incredible sight. And while we're not a bigger city, how blessed we are to live in our community. And I'm very grateful that I represent this community. And I'm very grateful that we are the community that we are for all our problems. And I am, I hear things out there and I see things and I think, you know what, we need to just appreciate where we live. And so going there and then coming back here just makes me appreciate it that much more. So I just wanted to say that. We have a great community. Anyway, we will move on. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody actually have anything they want to pull off the consent agenda? No?
Let's just make a motion to approve
Okay.
consent agenda items 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Reardon. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Paul. Yep, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And motion passes 6-0. We have nothing removed from the consent agenda. We'll move on to new business. Item 4, consider and act upon ordinance 1675 for first publication, and City Planner Stella Rael has some information on that.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, welcome back. There it is. Yes, good evening. So this evening I come in front of you with zoning case 2023-0002A. Property owners are Philip and Adelina Eford. Christian Lita is here as their representative this evening. We are looking at their request to change their zoning from C3 to, C3 Business District to M1 Light Industrial District. The reason for this zoning change request is property owners are looking at selling the property, and the new potential owners are wanting to place a cannabis cultivation and manufacturing business there. So I'm going to go through. there we are. 606 and a half is the address on record. You all might remember this location as the old U-All's Steakhouse
Oh,
on Lavelle, and, okay, so that's the location. Here is an aerial of that location, and the reason it has a 606 and a half address is, it used to be one whole parcel, and the address was 606 US Highway 70, West
and it
US
was
Highway 70.
the car lot, right?
The car lot. So when this parcel was split and they created two lots, an address wasn't created. A new address, which should be a Lavelle address, wasn't created. So they just called it 606 and a half. My intent is to correct that, make that change once all this is passed. So here is the aerial of the 200 feet that I have to notify property owners. So we sent out, the application was filed and all fees were paid. The legal ad was placed in the Alamogordo Daily News. 3 letters were mailed by certified return receipt mailed to all property owners of record within 250 feet from the property excluding the public right-of-way. As of today, we have not had any letters or phone calls of opposition. No letters were returned. So I am open for questions. Staff recommends approval on this, but I am here to answer any of your questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Owners, right?
Yes.
Hey there.
Kristen is, yes, here.
Wasn't there another property off of
Yes, it was 1408 Lavelle.
Lavelle?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, or was it Black. I'm sorry, it was Black. Yes.
Black, Gray,
Street.
Lavelle,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay.
Same area,
That
right.
area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same business? Same business, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I felt like deja vu there for a
Right.
minute, but then I saw the address and said, that doesn't sound
Yeah,
right to
no,
me. Okay.
they did come probably a month or so ago with that 1408 Black Street.
I got a quick question on this. How come on our aerial here it's showing 606 and 1600?
I
Yeah,
don't
I was
know.
wondering that too.
You know, I've asked GIS about that, our GIS department, because things like that show up and,
It's all, I guess the 1600 would be the Lavelle Road number. That would be the address for Lavelle Road.
yeah, it's a 606 and a half. I'm going to have to look, just looking at it real quick,
Well, that's what it would be.
1600 makes sense
Yes.
for Lavelle because
Because Cal's place there on the corner is at 1560,
1556.
or 1556
Yeah.
and 1560, and then 1600, okay.
Yeah,
that makes
so
sense.
it makes sense, so that,
Looks like they've got addresses for both those properties as a Lavelle address.
right,
and,
but,
and a Highway 70 address.
but the car lot, and you know, I think the reason that they show up like that, because when you have a property, a parcel that's in a corner, or on a corner rather, they have an option of, like, in this case, it could be US Highway 70 or it could be Lavelle.
Or Brown Street, for that matter.
So,
Okay.
no, it couldn't be Brown because of the way it faces, but anyway, that might be why they show up like that, but I've never really gotten a real answer from the county.
And
Okay.
then
Oh.
Under the current C3, or is it C3 or C1?
It's C3,
C3,
Mhm.
they can't have a cannabis growing,
no,
In
because
a
with the rewrite of Chapter 29, our zoning ordinance,
Uh-huh.
we are changing cannabis cultivation and manufacturing to our light industrial or industrial area.
okay.
So that's why I make the suggestion that since they're in the process of doing that, so they can comply here in the near future,
They would comply anyway, because they'd be grandfathered in.
well,
We
yeah,
haven't
but,
adopted
you
the
know,
new
we
one yet,
don't,
right?
we give the best advice we can so we don't cause any problems for new businesses coming into town.
So what was the Black Street or Gray Street or
Black,
whatever?
mhm.
Yeah, what is that gonna be? Same thing,
Same,
right?
yes, same type of business. yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
and then, and I just have a question because I'm curious. Y'all's steakhouse or that building,
Mhm.
was that, like, did they get permitted from the city and all of that? And,
I building's been there.
As the-
20
No,
years.
yeah, I know, but I mean,
As a steakhouse, you mean?
well, no, just to build it, I mean, it's kind of weird where it's built, right? Because they split up the parcel. But now I'm confused because you said that the way the address was. So I'm like, okay, well, was all that done properly or?
That was way before my time. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was looked at, but it was one whole parcel. The car lot was there and then the restaurant. And then I'm sure their intent, property owner's intent was to create two parcels to be able to sell one or the other, instead of as one whole piece.
Okay,
But,
I was just curious.
yeah, I'm sure they followed all the.
I always thought it was
proper-
weird the way it was,
Yeah,
not even fenced off, like it's just,
there.
like they decided to stick a building in the middle of a car lot or something, so.
Steak dinner and test drive a car all over. the
Right?
place.
I know, right?
Or maybe they'd give you a free steak dinner if you bought a car.
If you buy a car, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
In the letter we sent to the surrounding property owners, were they notified that this could result in a cannabis business?
They knew exactly what it was going to be.
Okay.
And, yeah, so we don't hide anything from them, so,
Okay.
yeah. And like I said, no phone calls, no letters of opposition. And
Yeah,
we
there's
have to
not
go
that
the
many.
250 feet, so you have to think about what's nearby. There's not a whole lot right there within that 250
Yeah,
feet.
the Shine owns all this.
I just know some people do, it would not be preferable if they had a choice to be next to a business if they don't agree with that type of industry. But
Yeah,
if they know, they know.
they know, yeah.
I would be that, some people, but that's okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Nope. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve item 4?
I'll move to approve item 4.
Okay, a motion from Commissioner Paul. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Reardon. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Carl Melton,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Reardon,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Dusty Wright is absent, Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Okay. And then we will move on to item 5, consider and act upon case V 2023-0001, requesting to reduce a rear setback, and you have some information on that for us?
Yes, ma'am, I do. So I'm switching gears here, so I'm going from zoning to variance. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to show you the area. This area right here is at the corner of Alaska Avenue and Crouch. Circled it in red, that's one whole parcel. There are 2 sets of apartments there. Each set consists of 2 apartments, okay? This is what brought this in front of you this evening. Mr. and Mrs. Carlson are the property owners, and they're looking at splitting that parcel. They want to sell one set of the apartments. So by splitting the parcel and meeting all our requirements as far as lot size requirements and setbacks and all, everything worked except for on the right-hand side, oh, wait a minute, let me see. No, on the left-hand side, the ones that are facing Alaska, they'll meet the front and side setbacks, but it won't meet the rear. So the rear setback should be 13 feet, and they can only get up to 10 feet to accommodate the split. So that's what the variance is about. It's to go ahead and grant 10 feet of a rear setback versus 13 feet. So I just added that little summary plat there, their sketch of what's actually going to be done. I don't want them to go and have a surveyor draw up a summary plat until they went through this process,
Okay.
because then it'd be a waste of their money if we didn't approve it at this end. So here is the 200 feet of, because we do have to send out letters for variances also. And so we did send out letters. I only received 1 phone call. We sent out, let me see, 28 letters. to surrounding property owners. We have not received any returned back. I received one phone call, and they just wanted clarification on what was going on. The question I get all the time is it going to affect my property taxes? You know, it's what they ask. So just to give you some findings of fact, the property is located at 2507 Alaska Avenue. Of course, once again, the request is for a variance to a backyard setback, reducing the setback from the required 13 feet to 10 feet 2 inches to be exact, in order to accommodate the split of the parcel into 2 separate lots. The application was filed on March 1st of 2023. We did place a legal notice in the Alamogordo Daily News on March 12th of 2023. Like I said, 28 letters were mailed to all property owners of record within 250 feet from the property, excluding public right-of-way of the property for which the variance is sought. And as of today, there have been 0 letters returned undeliverable, and I've only received that one phone call. So staff recommends approval on this one, and I am open for any questions.
Anybody have any questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve item 5?
Got one quick question. On your little drawing right there, that,
Uh-huh.
on be on my right, what's the setback there's a, where it says 27 feet, how far is it off the property line on that side?
Off from Alaska?
I don't know, on that picture you have right there?
Oh, it's on the right.
The one on the
Let me
right?
look at this, 'cause I can't see the numbers.
Okay. Yeah, it's not on here, so, or it might be, actually it is 5 feet, I got you.
Yes, it's 5 feet.
Down at the very
It
bottom.
is. Mhm.
Okay. And is that's a side,
That would be
property line?
considered a side setback.
Side setback?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then they're 25 from the front.
25, okay, so this is, okay, Crouch is here, okay, I got you. All right. That'll work. Yeah, this
So
is just
this
backwards from the other. from-
So the
Picture
top
we're
must
looking
be
at.
Alaska then,
Yeah.
right?
It's just upside down.
Do you want to see this?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just-
got it?
Yeah,
Okay.
the one picture's just, it needs to
It's
spin.
flipped?
Yeah.
Then
needs
it
to
would be
spin.
upside down.
Yeah, in order for it to match what's on our aerial picture, so, okay, we're good.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve item 5?
I'll move to approve item 5.
Okay, a motion from Commissioner Paul. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Burnett. This is not a roll call, right? Okay. All those in favor, aye? Aye. All those opposed? And motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We are going to move on to item 6, appointments to boards and committees. How do you clear a room? You pass their agenda items, that's how. Just saying. Thank you. Okay. I have an application, I'm sorry, look at this.
Multiple.
Yes, I do. And I'm trying to figure out what this first one is. I don't have them in order.
So what's she trying to do?
Okay. All right. I have an application for the Senior Advisory Board. That doesn't sound right to me, but okay. And I do have, I'm sorry, I have an opening for that, and I do have an application from Rebecca Miller. I think if appointed, this would be her first term. Does anybody have any objections?
It would be her second term.
Her second term. Oh, I don't remember her being on that board. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why this application looks so confusing to me. I think it's because it's the one off the internet. But anyway, yeah, okay, so I apologize. If elected, this would be her second term. Does anybody have any objections? If not, I'm going to appoint Rebecca to that, reappoint Rebecca to that position. And then we will move on to having a hard time here, Dylan. I am so
Stephen
sorry.
Butler.
Yes,
Not
I
a
see
problem.
Stephen
The
Butler.
next
I'm
up-
trying to figure out,
Correct, Stephen Butler.
okay. And why don't I see the committee here
That would be for the Senior Volunteer Programs Advisory
as
Council.
well? Okay. I don't know why I don't see that. All right, and, oh, I do see it now. I'm sorry. Senior Volunteer Programs Advisory Council, okay. And if appointed, this would be a reappointment. This would be his second term?
This would be his 6th term.
Sixth term. Okay, apparently I need to learn to read these better. I apologize. Okay, so if reappointed, this would be his 6th term. Does anybody have any objections? Okay, if not, I'm going to appoint him to that. And then finally, we have Soshito Valenzuela, and I know that that's the same board, right?
Correct, Madam
Yeah.
Mayor.
Yeah, her I know. Okay, I don't know why, I don't know the rest of them, but anyway, if appointed, this would be her third
term.
term. Yes, I see that one. Okay, I see that one. All right, does anybody have any objections?
There is one more application, actually, for the Mayor's Committee on Aging. It is by
Oh,
Rosanna
I see it.
Heath.
Yeah, Rosanna Heath. Okay, I'll get to that one. No objections, I'm going to appoint her to that. And then there is a 4th one. Rosanna Heath, and it's the Mayor's Committee on Aging. I was previously on the committee. Okay, and this is a reappointment.
This one's actually her 1st term.
Did she, okay. Okay, we'll just go with that. She says I was previously on the committee, so I thought maybe she took a break or something and came back. I don't know, but,
I will double check on that.
okay, that's okay. All right, anybody have any objections? No? Okay. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and appoint her to that. And with that, does anybody have anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn? I knew that was coming. Motion from Commissioner Reardon, a second from Commissioner McDonald. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, and we are adjourned. Thank you.